Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Harshit Awasthi and Mr. Sashakt Tripathi, who are the co-founders of Elixar Systems. Uh, uh, both of them are students of BITS Pilani, pursuing their engineering courses right now. So hi Harshit and hi Shakshat. Welcome to ELI.
Hi Priya, thanks for welcoming us.
I request both of you to introduce yourselves, please.
Okay, so then I'll go on with it first. Hello everyone. My name is Sashakt Tripathi. I'm the co-founder of Elixar Systems, and I'm also a student at BITS Pilani, Computer Science final year. But yeah, and we are working really hard to give some really useful products out to you guys. So yeah, great work.
Harshit.
Yeah, my name is Harshit Awasthi. I'm a fourth year student of BITS Pilani, and I'm Sashakt are in the same batch, but I'm in chemical engineering branch stream. And we are working in the domain of augmented reality, and we are trying to build scientific temperament by giving students the power to experiment and all.
Okay. Uh, Tell us a bit about the company you are building, Elixir Systems.
Oh, okay. So I'll go on with it then. So Elixir Systems is basically a augmented reality solution provider. As of now, we are working in education and trying to use the full potential of augmented reality. And what we found was that augmented reality can really help the students in making them feel that the things which they are doing digitally really exist in the real world. So we found that that aspect could really be used in education, and if we could promote the experimental part of education, make students do the experiments and do learn the concepts in a gamified way, basically by interacting with the apparatus and the 3D models which are given, then it would be a lot more active form of learning as compared to just reading the books and seeing the videos, which we believe is a passive form of learning. And it would give a lot better efficiency as compared to the current educational methodology. Plus, a lot of students who lose interest in education because of the kind of content that they have to go through, that would also change, because a lot of students are interested in playing games at the same time, but they are not interested in really reading the books. So if we could get the education in a gamified manner to the students in which they can learn while playing, that would be a revolution in education. So that's what we are trying to do. And for that, we have our first product, Kalam Science Labs, in which students can go and directly operate on the digital apparatus and conduct all the experiments right from their homes. So it would feel like the experiment is right in front of them. So it would feel realistic. And due to the interactivity and the activeness of the form of learning that we are providing, we believe that it should be a really a change in the industry in education.
Uh, Sakshit, from the face of it, I can see this is a very interesting idea you are working on. For the first time, I'm hearing such a concept. Would like to know
Yeah.
how did you get this idea? How did you come up with this idea?
Okay, so like
So I just
we are,
I'm
Harshit, are you saying
like
something?
so. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
just telling that regarding this idea, like Sashakt is actually in Kota. So he has seen many things in Kota industry, that how things function, and the level of rote learning and stress which students face. And science is a bit of an art in which people should get freedom to explore the true natures of it. So what I think is like personally, I was totally like, and I did not went to any organized coaching my JEE or BITSAT preparation. But Shashak was knowing about the things, like he was one of the rank holders at the whole institute, and his JEE rank was also 500. He was much aware that how things happen. And eventually we met Faraz, who is one of our co-founders. He also got ace were in the kind of in these institutes, then we identify this specific issue of like how people and students are not getting this specific idea of the true science, and then things roll. Shashak, you can continue now, like a bit on.
Yeah, so like what we believe, what we saw, what that was that education was believed to be totally uninteractive, and most of the online education tech providers which are working right now also provide passive form of learning only. They provide videos and text material and everything, and most of the educational institutions were doing the same thing. But we found this new technology, augmented reality. So we thought that this technology actually had the potential to bring the concepts in front of the students rather than just telling the students what they have to think or how they have to think. Like for example, when I was in my when I used to attend the classes of 11th and 12th, my teachers used to try really hard with their hands to show different concepts which were hard to visualize. For example, if they had to show a tetrahedral structure and a reaction mechanism specific to it, they had to make different figures with their hands, and then they had to show that okay, this will turn like this and now the atom will attack from below and everything. But that was really tough for the student to understand and visualize even after that, and they were not able to help the student visualize with everything. So what we thought was that why not, if we have augmented reality, why not create digital 3D models of the particular concepts and bring right in front of the students as per the need of the concept. And then while working with that, we realized that we could also put in a lot of gamification into the concepts, that we could also add interactivity to the concept. So students would feel that they are doing something and a result is happening because of that. That results in a lot better learning as compared to just reading about it and being able, like most of the students are not able to imagine what the particular text says. For example, if you go through the electric DC motor concept from class 10th, it says current flows from P to Q and the torque is applied at the, like into the paper and below. So it's totally tough to understand from a 2D figure that what the text is talking about. And most of the students are not able to imagine that. And when they are not able to imagine that, they ultimately lose their interest in education. And if we can help them with this technology, then they will not only be more interested in pursuing the education, but it would also be a better form of learning, because now the students are learning because they are interacting, not because the person in the video is saying something.
Okay, I think that is a very interesting concept you shared. Uh, so, just a very generic question to you. I'd like to know how the industry, the online learning industry, is going to evolve in coming days. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Okay, so what we have seen and in our experience, online education is like at a real big boom during this COVID era. So the reason is that most of the students in metropolitan cities these days have phones, and most of the online education providers are providing their content through mobile phones, through the internet. And yes, so if from the particular domain that we work in, that is augmented reality in education, we feel that the market is pretty new, that the market is not adapt to what we are offering right now. Most of the people haven't used AR apps before this when we are going with the educational solution. So we are trying to create a market of augmented reality in a booming online education market, which is quite possible. So, and there are other online education providers as well. So yeah.
Okay, coming back to our core discussion, would like to know when you started, you would have needed some funds to build this venture. How did you arrange the funds?
Okay. Harshit, do you want to add to it or should I continue?
You should continue. You should continue.
Okay, okay. So like when we began, we had to bootstrap the business. So we put in our own money, all the co-founders that we put in our own money, and then we tried to reach a benchmark. But what I'd like to share with everyone who is trying to do a startup or trying to take an idea forward is that if it is really a good idea, then you would have to, yes, take it to a threshold, but after that there will be a lot of people who will be looking to offer you help in terms of finance. So when we began, we didn't have funds, but we bootstrapped our business. We bought things on our own and did various stuff and reached a particular benchmark. And after that, through various competitions that we participated in, innovation challenges by different institutes, IISc or DST, they provided us enough research grants to operate comfortably for some time. And then there were also a lot of investors who are trying to, like, who want to invest in the idea. We are also considering that. So I think that if the idea has a potential, then finance is not the real problem. People are looking to invest a lot of money in good ideas that they find.
Okay. Harshit
Yeah.
and Sashakt, this is not the first time we are inviting entrepreneurs who are still students. So here is my question: how do you manage being a student and being an entrepreneur? I think entrepreneurship needs a hell lot of energy and time uh, for carrying out the work. So how do you manage both of these?
Okay. So the actually most of the colleges in India have a compulsory attendance policy that you have to attend 75 percentage of the classes that are going on. But we are like from BITS Pilani, and our college has given us the independence and freedom that, okay, if you think you can utilize your time in a better way and you can also pursue your academics, then it's not necessary for you to attend classes. So we get a lot of time out of that. Plus, because we are like a team, and the real strength is in coordination, team coordination. We try to distribute tasks and help each other continuously. That's the way we are taking our entrepreneurship with college forward.
Okay. I think this is very interesting. If you are in college and you get enough time to spend on your project, I think the other resources are very easily available. For example, if you need manpower to
Yeah.
take your venture forward, you have it available at your college. Your friends can help you build the venture. Also, the resources will be very cheaply available. You don't need to pay them the full time salary to build something. And of course there
Hmm.
will be mentors in form of your teachers or professors to guide you throughout the journey. So many of the benefits you get while studying, do you think this is something our the other universities should implement? They give people freedom to build something on their own while a student?
Mm, I think a lot of universities are trying to do that as well. Actually, a lot of universities have grown bigger than the size that it's easier for them to change. So any change takes time for them to adapt to. And this is not just BITS Pilani. If you go outside India, then you can find that MIT has a similar model on which BITS has also operated to get this no attendance policy inside its system. So, but a lot of colleges which don't have that policy from the beginning, it's very tough for them because they are too big to change. So I think that's the real issue. But yes, obviously, education is only worth if it is put into practice. And if it is not put into practice, it's just some information which is being told to you. So unless you are giving the students the education in the form that they can apply it, it's of no use. So that's the real issue.
Sashak, can you give some examples like which are the universities in India that are like Pilani is one of them.
Mhm.
Which other universities are promoting entrepreneurship and giving students the resources to build a venture? Why I'm asking this is because many of our audiences are people who want to do something of their own. They just need a platform. I think such universities can be a good place to start. Can you give some examples?
Okay, so like entrepreneurship is a concept which most of the people these days are talking about. So most of the colleges, actually entrepreneurship can also be a huge monetary incentive for the colleges as well, for the universities, because when a startup gets incubated into the incubator, which is present at the college. So basically, an incubator is a place from a particular organization which helps a startup to grow. So the various universities also have different incubators. So most of the universities these days have incubators, and if a startup is registered in the incubator and develops a particular intellectual property, then the incubator, which is ultimately the university, also shares a part of it. And that's the main reason why universities look to get the incubators in the first place, so that the student entrepreneurs which are there can gain out of it. So, and the university can also gain out of it. So most of the universities have incubators, but ultimately what really also counts is the mindset which is imparted to the student when it goes into the university. So basically, let's say if you go into a university and I hand you the particular list of things that you have to do all the year round, which is basically a timetable and some mid-semester examinations, some comprehensive examinations, then that gives a particular mindset to the student. But when you, let's say, go into a university like BITS Pilani, or when you go into a university like Ashoka University, you're not handed things, you are asked to choose things. And when you start choosing for your own, you start becoming good decision makers, you start taking decisions for your own. And that really changes the mindset which is important in entrepreneurship. So it's all about mindset, how you look at things. You cannot say it's not my job to do this, and that's how really it teaches you from there. You have to do it on your own.
Okay. Sashakt,
Yeah.
having studied in a college that promotes entrepreneurship, what would be your view for educational institutes that are in the process of reframing their course structure? I think COVID has forced a lot of our educators to change the model they operate in. So in another year's time, you will see new courses coming up and new structure of education. I think the new education policy also came very recently. So how do you suggest universities which get some level of autonomy from the government and from the society as well to structure their course? How do you suggest them to structure it in a particular way so that it will be in the best interest of the society as well as the students?
Okay. So, what I really believe is that this is a much deeper question. I think what universities should do in order to do this is that they should get more people who know about the industry into their system, so that they can tell about what's actually working, what the industry is right now onto. Because most of our courses, they are teaching things which have been obsolete 10 years back. And the reason is that the most of the people who are deciding what is to be taught are not people from updated from the industry. They are people who have been teaching the same thing for a lot of time. So the really important thing which I think is that they should get in people from the industry who know what's the latest thing going around in that field. And yeah, they should continuously update it from there.
Okay, Sashakt and Harshit, I think we are almost up with the time and I have a few questions left. So I would request you to answer them very briefly. First thing is, when you started out, how did you convince each other, the co-founders? How did you convince each other to pursue something?
Okay, so like before we started out, me and Harshit were really like good friends,
Mm.
and we used to talk a lot about things. So one day when I was thinking about this idea of augmented reality with education, I talked to Harshit, and then Harshit told me that he and Faraz are also have Faraz, who is also another co-founder, is also thinking about a similar thing. And then he showed me a prototype they had prepared on top of our first semester bio book. So then we thought that okay, then it would be great, and we thought that we could be a great team. So that's the way I think we started off. All three of us were really into doing something, and like we didn't want to sit and do our assignments and just prepare for the final exams. We wanted to do something. Harshit and Faraz were also involved in other startups before this one, so they were also like really on to applying what they are getting to know in the college. So I think that was the real thing, that we all wanted to do this thing and we all got together on a similar idea.
What are the challenges you faced along the way?
There are a lot of challenges that we faced. Almost everything was a challenge. So challenges included from like it's a basic idea which we believed in. Firstly, when we started out, we believed in a totally different way of handling people and leading people to what we believe today. And I think that's the biggest thing which has changed. Now we feel like at that time we could have done better, but I think, yeah, this is what we have done.
Okay, I think Harshit can switch on the video so that our audience can see his face also. Um,
Yeah.
my only two questions left. First question is, how do you suggest our audience to start their journey as entrepreneurs? Very briefly, you can tell.
Sorry, I
So
wasn't able to
like
hear the question. Yeah.
Question is, how do you suggest our audience to start their journey as entrepreneurs?
yeah. So
Harshit.
like I think yeah. So I think that there are many schemes of government which can help students and like all the aspiring youngsters to begin their own journey. Like we ourselves have been funded by IC Bangalore and DST IIGP program. So like if your idea is good and you are convinced enough that it can be revolutionary in nature, then there are a lot of schemes under the Startup India scheme and the respective states like Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, or Delhi itself. So like they have a lot of schemes in which they provide you like funds and monetary incentives to basically ease in out your things. Like specific, particularly there is a DIPT number by Government of India. Like if you get enrolled under that scheme, then you can be exempted from any tax or these kind of instruments. So once you are convinced that your idea is good enough, then I think there are a lot of ways to easen out the unnecessary troubles which are there. Unnecessary, but important, because you need to get registered your startup. You need to have financial backing. So these are like really important things. But if your idea is strong, then these complementary things can be handled enough well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the final message you want to add to this, Sashakt?
Yeah, so basically,
Sure.
if I want to add to it, it will be that already Government of India is doing a lot of things, and different governments are doing a lot of things to promote entrepreneurship. As you might see in different ads and different election campaigns, that these much funds have been allocated to the startups, and this is what we are doing for the startups, and that's really the need of the hour, because a top-down approach won't work in India. We are a diverse country, and a top-down approach uh, cannot work for the country. And to build up a bottom up approach, we need to have startups looking at basic problems, and that's what the government is trying to do: provide funds to different startups and things so that they can focus on their own problems and ultimately collaborating to a better society which is built from bottoms up. So the major thing which just stops people from starting is they themselves. If they decide to do it, then there won't be anything which would stop them, even if there are a lot of challenges.
Okay. Would like to ask both of you, what are your final message to potential entrepreneurs of this country? Very shortly, tell us.
So, like in my case, the only message is that entrepreneurship is definitely a very tough journey, and it can sound initially cool, but there is one lesson and one golden key to anything is that if your co-founders are good enough, like if you have a very good bond as a friend, or like they are really envisioning that idea with you, then everything will become manageable and solvable, because that's the main Iron Man's core, which is very important. If something goes faulty in it, then like no Iron Man suit can make you fly.
Okay. Sakshat, your final message.
Yeah, so if I'll just have to add one thing, I'll say never say that it's not my job, because as entrepreneurs, your job is that your enterprise grows. So never say it's not your job and this is someone else's job. It's everything is your job till the customer gets the product. So yeah, that would be the message. Never say it's not your job.
It was a great pleasure to host both of you, very young entrepreneurs at ELI. And I think our audience would have got a lot of inspiration from this video to start at very young age and from the college days itself. Thanks for your time, Harshit and Sashakt. You both are inspiration for many of the students in their colleges, doing MBA or engineering, and our best wishes for Elixar systems.
Thank you, Priyaranjan.
Thank you.
Viewers, you can connect with Harshit and Sashakt on LinkedIn by searching for Harshit Awasthi and Sashakt Tripathi. Uh, So do let us know whom do you want to have here at ELI for next episodes. We will be back before you know it. Stay tuned to ELI.
Yeah, thanks you, Priya. And ELI is definitely a great initiative. Like,
Yeah.
like the whole initiative by which you are functioning, it's a great visionary thing.
Thank you.